guys. How are you all doing?
Good.
Awesome.
Well, today's topic is going to be about human trafficking. And I just want to ask you guys a couple questions and hear what you guys think. Okay. First question is, what do you guys think human trafficking is?
I think it's just a form of modern day slavery.
Yeah, I think that maybe like pimps might send people out into the cities and places and look for maybe girls who look lonely or isolated and then prey upon them.
At 13 years old, we lived in a neighborhood in Columbus, Ohio that was considered to be a safe place. Right around 15 years old, we had a neighbor that asked me and 3 other girls to go to New York City. Now, of course, at 15, everyone wanted to go to New York. It took me about 2 months for my parents to agree for me to go. And so we were happy, we were excited. We get to New York and we go to Canal Street, and that's where they sell all these little purses and colognes and things really, really cheap. They were knockoff purses, but you know, it was fun getting that stuff. And so right around 8 o'clock, they told us that we had to get back to the hotel. We were supposed to be going to see a Broadway show. And we get to the room, they give us these clothes. I will never forget this dress. It was a blue lace dress. I mean, totally see-through. It was something that was not appropriate for anyone to wear in public, much less a 15-year-old girl in a place like New York City. But they told us that if we didn't put them on, that we'll never make it back home to see our parents again. And so one of the girls, you know, talked back, and she was smacked instantly. And so we never saw that side of these people. It was a married couple. They had been very nurturing to us. We never saw that. And so I looked over at the wife, and I said, what are y'all doing? What is he talking about? And she looked at me very sadly and said, just do what he says. And so we did. And over the next 3 days, we were sold into prostitution. Everything in my life changed that day. Everything. Every dream that I had, every goal that I had, everything died in me that day. The very first scripture I ever learned was Psalms 126:1. That scripture says, when the Lord turns again the captivity of Zion, we were like them that dreamed a dream. That was the scripture that kept me for all that time that I was in that lifestyle. I recognized that this was something that God did not ordain, but He did give me the grace to go through it, to do what I do today.
We just came from a session at the Franklin County Municipal Court in Columbus, Ohio. It was a meeting for a Catch Court, a program that helps women who have been addicted to drugs, involved in prostituting, human trafficking.
Yeah, so I really wasn't expecting how most of the girls were coming out of drug addictions and how they were just experiencing like everyday problems like other teenagers and young adults deal with, like getting into a wrong relationship or peer pressure and like getting into the wrong crowd.
Some of the boundaries that they set up in the program, one of the rules is no relationships the first year of the program and no smoking, and that was kind of cool, even thinking about our lives, the kind of boundaries we as young adults can set up and teenagers in our lives to avoid risky behavior, that not even just human trafficking or prostituting, but just getting in the wrong situation. All the women there, they were kind to each other. You could tell that they felt safe, they felt comfortable around each other. It was like a family atmosphere. So I thought that was really awesome. Even just for our lives, just an example of how it's so important that we have a support system to make sure that we don't engage in risky behaviors and to keep us on the right track. I mean, some women were talking about, wanting to get into relationships, and it was really cool to see the other women saying, don't do that. They just had, when they wanted to get off course, they had a support system to say, no, you don't need to engage in that, or you need to do this better, and then encourage them when they're struggling.
Why do you guys think it's rare to hear about human trafficking? Because a lot of us, like myself, haven't heard about it before I really started looking into it. And a lot of you guys didn't really, know what the real definition of it is. So why do you think it's so rare to hear about it?
I think out of fear.
Yeah.
Just, it's something that not a lot of people know about, so maybe not a lot of people know the answer to. Mm-hmm. So they just try to avoid it, like, maybe it'll just work itself out, or maybe it'll go away. Just like a lot of, common problems of life.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I've heard is that, people would hear about it in their neighborhood or something, or people would have an idea that maybe something was going on, but because they didn't know what it was or they didn't know how they could help, they just, kind of brushed it under the rug and just let it happen. If you or someone you know is a victim of human trafficking, call 888-3737-888. And to hear more of Marlene's story, go to rehabshideaway.org.